I mean, let's be real. Construction can be very dangerous. Estimating's changing, so we have to move and change as times change, as tech changes.
There's so many ways to provide value to our clients.
Safety is the most important. In the end, we're dealing with human beings.
What's the most important role in a construction company? Welcome to episode 2. This is going to be a quicker one because Clay is eating a banana. And so also he has to go watch his kids. But we wanted to dive in real quick on some of our projects, right? We're doing Jet's Pizzas. We did the software development company. We've done, Big B Coffee. We've done Pepsi. We've done BMW. We've done so many cool things. I mean, some of these on the wall, like Robert's Oxygen bottling facility.
Signature Flight
private jet facility.
O'Neill Steel.
We got Gardner Orthodontics. We got Calvera Skincare. We got Copart 40,000 square foot auto dealership on 55 acres. H2 Health, which just wrapped up. Got a great client testimony video. What have we learned on all these projects, right? What did you learn at H2 Health? I mean, there's so much dynamic to each thing, right? There's one's a build out, one's a ground up. How are we getting better?
How are we getting better, Clay?
Well, I think no matter how big or small a project is, as everyone knows, probably watching this, there's always something that comes up. There's always something that's unforeseen. One of the things we pride ourselves on with J.Lane is being extremely upfront with a client, and we try to mitigate every quote, unforeseen thing possible. So there's no surprises. We're getting better at that. I think it's going to be an ever evolving process. I mean, Mark's been great as a project manager, bringing up things like, hey, we got to make sure we include this. Myself now being into the sales and more of the front end of project managed for about 10 years. And so now being on the front side of it, I kind of know what needs to happen on a project that the plans don't necessarily show. So that helps. But again, it's every job's different. And so getting better at seeing those things, doing site visits, really analyzing the site, especially if it's a remodel, is a huge part of like seeing. We're just at one today. It had a demo plan, but going on site, I'm like, well, there needs to be a whole lot more demoed here than what the plan's showing. So
right. That's a thing that AI in our last episode we were talking about. Mark was, like, bro, who's going to actually go open the electric panel or look at the, the existing plumbing rough, like whatever it is, Yeah.
So, so learning more. I mean, my goal is to make Mark's job when he gets it as easy as possible. That's my goal. Making sure we've got everything covered as much as possible. And so each job gets a little bit better.
That's a good way to say it. And that's very accurate as well.
Like one example, Crumble Cookie, like we helped this guy get into his space off of Beach Boulevard in Jacksonville, off of Hodges. And it was the best cookies ever.
Yeah, they're so good.
Yeah. But seeing his business succeed, now he's called us back and he has potential of more, cookie shops, we hope.
Yeah.
But,
we set ourselves at such a high standard that we almost like, I feel like sometimes we surprise the client. Like, oh, wow, you're doing that for us. Oh, well, you called me back. Or you're doing this, like you're so proactive.
Proactive responsiveness.
Yeah, proactive responsiveness.
Core value.
And it's happening with every client and they just love it. And that's what keeps them engaged with us to make all these successful projects. Now, during that time with every project, like Clay was saying, we're always capturing these little tidbits of information to improve ourselves.
One of them being,
for example, safety at a job site. Safety nobody likes to talk about safety at a job site. Oh, we got a
boring safety.
Yeah. Oh my God. I got to fill out a form. All right. Yeah. Not this video. This video is awesome. But, but one of the things when I go on a job site or when I was a project manager back in the day, and Mark, maybe you can use this. I don't know if you have.
I love safety, by the way.
He was a project manager before OSHA was around though, right?
I actually invented OSHA. No, I did not. I probably wouldn't be sitting here. The safety factor, we're having a lot of fun here, right? Real quick.
No, I'm not.
It can be a pain and nobody likes to do the toolbox talk and sign the form. But what I used to always tell not only my team, but my subcontractors, I'd look them square in the eyes and say, look, I want you to go home to your family tonight. Right. And so all of a sudden they have a different perspective. It's like, oh, now they're a little bit grateful. Exactly.
Which is the same way we treat our employees.
Yes.
I'm building this system for you, not to be your boss, like some dictator.
Yeah.
I'm building a process for you to follow.
Yeah, construction is can be very dangerous. I mean, let's be real. And so, growing up, my dad used to call them trip hazards, right? Because I mean, it's trip or something. So I am programmed.
Trip hazard?
You know, I'm gonna look at the definition of
right?
that.
So trip hazard means it's a hazard that you trip over.
Okay, go ahead, move on.
So I am like programmed from like a young age to like notice the hazards in anywhere I go. Maybe it's a guy thing, I don't know, but you know, so I'll walk on a site and I'll immediately just begin to move framing out of the way. It's like, hey, get this out of the hallway, or get this can't be, you know, it's all the random thing because it's a trip hazard, right? But I'll also notice the guy on a lift, you know, that's standing up on the rings, and that
little nail down there is
the nail on my new, you know, tile floor, or
trip hazard.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking hole in my floor, right?
Yeah, right. But to get past the whole safety thing, because those are valid points. But that's another dynamic of how we care about the projects from start to finish. Isn't it just always about the client experience? It's about even the safety for our staff and our subcontractors.
Yeah. And so look, as a project manager, superintendents more so, right? You know, you have to, toolbox talks are the way OSHA kind of manages that stuff, besides giving you a fine for breaking the rules, right? But toolbox.
Can you say it 5 times? Fast?
Are a way that it's hey, safety is the most important. In the end, I'll say this with almost every topic, we're dealing with human beings, right? They're going to forget their harness. They're going to forget the clip.
What about
forget the ladder, whatever.
Punch list checklists of some sort to where
that's what a toolbox talk is.
No, I'm saying like on a punch list, before the client shows up, we have our checklist, right? That says, put your light on an angle on the wall and look for all the drywall crap that we need to fix before the client even shows up to do the
we're
punch
talking
list.
about safety though.
No, I'm moving on.
He's talking about internal punch lists.
I'm talking about value. Mark, we're going to get bored on safety. I'm saying there's safety, there's checklists, there's
trip hazard.
There's so many ways to provide value to our clients.
Yes. And so that's again, the value in that aspect is going to be having excellent trade partners. Right. And having them
and a great superintendent.
Correct. Both are required and important. Right. The trade partner has to do it correctly the first or second time. Right. And the superintendent needs to catch it. You know, so it doesn't.
So how do you handle a trade partner that sucks?
Can I say this real quick?
Yeah.
That's a broad. That's a very broad question.
Yeah.
But with the safety, real quick, I know it's boring, but even when they give a scope of work and they say, hey, we're going to install A, B, and C and supply D and E and F. When we send them a purchase order, along with that scope, has in there that they have to be safety compliant, right? They have to clean up behind themselves. So we do this not only it's for the success of the project, not just cleanliness,
and it is boilerplate,
but safety. Because
every PO has it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and again, so it's setting the standard for those who read it, which plenty do. Believe me, I've argued it over with many subs. And so it's setting a J.Lane standard that says, hey, we want things to meet code inspection.
$50 every cigarette butt.
Every cigarette butt, you know. And if you smoke it in front of me, it's another 20. Right? I'm just kidding.
That's a change order.
So, but really, it's you have to has to be very involved with what's happening on the site for the product to come out like shining. Like to be in A quality. And that means addressing the subs in the midst of the work, catching mistakes before they happen, right? We can look at framing, we can look at drywall, we can look at paint and go, hey, you know, that doesn't look right, this doesn't seem right. Go back to the plans, have that conversation. And so it's very active supervision, right? Superintendent's role is not just to sit
in the truck
on the truck, sit in the heavy duty Honda and just watch
Tesla.
the truck, right? Or watch
heavy duty Honda.
Yeah, that's my little Civic.
That was a plug, wasn't it?
You're welcome. Yeah,
we don't do free brand deals, Mark.
Right, but there has to be this active involvement with the jobs and the subs. Like again, we're calling them trade partners because we're interacting like a partnership, right?
It is a partnership.
And so we're talking to them, they're talking to us. Safety is a huge part of that, but also, you know, how they're doing the job and the quality and the outcome of what they're doing. That's a day by day thing, just like cleaning the job site, just like safety is. And if you lax one day, 1 week, then yeah, you're gonna see the quality and the value of that project drop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And to your point, Mark, to elaborate a little bit more on that, the punch list thing that you mentioned, Jesse, some people, not a lot, our trade partners learn, the ones that work with us often. Like I've had them come to me and say, oh, I'm going to put that on my punch list. I'm like, no, you're not done. that's not a punch list item. That's an incomplete item.
There you
Right.
go. Yeah, that's a big point.
Yes. And that's the standard that we have. That's the standard. And we do that for the success of our projects
Correct.
and our client and the client
Yeah.
satisfaction.
Yeah, it's good. Minimize the punch list.
Yeah.
Correct. But you can do that again by being involved, right? Again, it depends on the structure of your company, but we want our superintendents to be very involved with the details of
Yeah.
the projects and how they're run.
So how would you say you as a PM now, you came from Super, are involved or less involved in the details or just as much involved? How has that transition been for you?
Yeah, as a PM, I'm less involved in the on-site details and more involved on the contracts and scope of work and the financials and
Which
the
are
architect
still
engineers,
details.
all the RFIs,
It's different details.
different details to make the project.
Would you say there's
run.
macro and micro details?
That's fine to
Or,
say.
or
yeah.
there's office and on-site details? How
Yeah,
about that?
they're
It's
both-
both order of importance is the same.
correct.
Actually,
Yeah.
well, no, they are the same.
They're all the same importance. The job
Yeah.
can't get done unless the on-site details are
Yeah.
handled and the details in the office are handled.
right. The budget's falling apart, then your drywall's great. Or if the drywall sucks and your
Yeah.
schedule is falling apart, then
And the amount of things that the cities need and the city, all the municipalities need, all the fire marshals needs,
yeah.
all of the
And each
the
county's
different
different.
subcontractor needs.
Yeah.
The client wants things, the franchises want things. These are all things PMs do.
Mhm.
On the site, we're actively looking at, hey, should this wall be built here, or hey, the dimension of the length of the room is off 6 inches. Do we split the difference? Where do we split it?
Yeah.
Right. And so they're both very important and valid to address. So one's a superintendent. Sometimes it's together, right? I just took the break to call my superintendent, right? The site superintendent, and there's issues and they need addressing. Sometimes it's the architect and engineers. Sometimes it's the client,
Mhm.
sometimes I'm calling the fire marshal to see if if this is allowed and if this is okay, and so all that's on the same job. Right. And this is just a week's deal. Right. Sometimes it's a day's deal. But the details change going from super to PM, but they're not less important. Both are required.
Mhm.
And to create a product, one that gets the client the CO so they can start their business.
Certificate of occupancy.
Because in the end, 10 years of running a business, this 6 months, 3 months is irrelevant. But it needs to be done to where it meets the budget. Right. It serves J.Lane,
Meets the schedule.
J.Lane's budget as well.
Schedule.
Right. And with the schedule, every week or month has a huge impact. Some clients have it down to the day and the hour of this is the profit we're losing.
and the longer a project takes, the more it costs J.Lane also. Us as the GC.
J.Lane and the client.
We are bleeding out the longer these projects take.
Right.
Yeah. So, but let's focus on those details we're talking about, like project manager, superintendent. The most important details for any of these projects starts way before day one of construction.
Correct.
Yes.
All the planning, the scheduling, the coordinating, the estimating,
It's
the
everything.
buyout. We do all that to serve the client, to the value engineering. All that is done up front. The client doesn't see that part,
Right.
right? They think that they're just waiting for, hey man, you're not at my site starting work yet. They don't say that to us, but they're probably thinking it like, I'm just anxious to get started, right? Well, Mr. Client, Mr. and Mrs. Client, we're actually doing all this work up front. We're doing the value engineering. We're buying out this. We're ordering ahead of time because there's, issues with getting material on time, special doors, special electrical equipment. So there's all this work up front that they don't see that we provide them. Now we communicate with them, but they still don't see everything that happens behind the scenes.
But also that you can get some demo done and you can get some plumbing rough done. You can
Yes.
work up to your first inspection.
Yes, for
So
sure.
we do that. Do.
You do.
Do.
Yeah, and that's true, and that might be per municipality, but in the end, we as the GC, we want to do as much as we can to get that client in the building, and then forgetting that hey, we had to build this thing, right? Because that can be traumatic in some cases, right? But in the end, they want day one of opening, and then they're living their dream. Right. This is where we want to get clients to, and it's our specialty from the moment we get a lead to the moment that the PM and the super close the deal on a CO, right? That we give them the best case, the best experience, the best product, right? That we can. Along that way, we have to capture some details, and we may miss or not miss some, but we have to capture all the things that are unforeseen and bring them all up to the surface because they're going to come eventually, whether it's before contract or after, which is a change order, right? And so we want to try and catch as much as we can up front, but it's not always possible.
I have a pop quiz for you guys. What is the most important role in a construction company? Don't say it.
Answer.
Clay. This is
Superintendent.
wrong.
What's
the most important role in a construction company?
client experience?
The most important role?
Oh,
Sales.
No.
most
Dude,
important
PM.
No.
CEO.
No.
COO.
Estimator.
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 Yes.
Yeah, I just thinking about
It was
estimator.
literally.
I was just checking you
This
guys.
is a question
'Cause this-
on the Florida General Contractors examination
Yeah.
for the state board.
State board.
I will tell you, as a PM, I probably talk to our estimator 2 or 3 times a day.
You had a good run. You were trying.
He was just going down a list.
I knew the answer. I was just making sure. He's see if you
He's
got
like,
it.
clean office. He's like,
the
oh,
cleaner.
Amazon driver.
Yeah,
Amazon driver.
that's UPS.
UPS guy.
Mailman.
No,
I will.
HubSpot. I remember what's it called? The Grubhub.
So I will
Uber
tell you.
DoorDash.
I will tell you. Probably the most
Crystal.
feedback that I give as a PM
That
is
could be some
to
truth
the
to that.
estimator.
What'd you
Right.
say?
The most feedback I give as a PM is to the estimator. Right. And it's because, hey, I send emails now just to make sure it's the process. But it's because, again, we can't catch everything, but we can catch most things. And when I see it, if it's a trend, then I say, hey, let's catch it on the next one. Right. Because, again, things change as technology changes, things change. Right. Architects and engineers, not all of them are going on site anymore. They're doing everything online. Right. Estimating is changing. So we have to move. This is an innovation, right, tag so we have to move and change as times change, as tech changes. Right. But in the end, we also have to meet the need of the project.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so when I see a trend, because I'm the project manager, right after the estimator, it hits
What's
my
one
desk.
trend that you've seen that's been missed or whatever?
Oh, gosh.
Floor prep.
Floor prep, right? And so again, it doesn't seem huge, but you know, when it's the whole place, it would anyway. So
ADA
floor prep
signs.
was 88. Yeah, let's not forget and so I just kind of send it as like, hey, 2 or 3 projects haven't had this. Make sure you get it in the budget next time.
Now, are
the
we eating
GC
that
covers
cost?
that.
Are we
100%. ADA signs are covered in the cost.
Those are signs, but
So we have
Not-
we've
Not my
tweaked
projects.
we've improved and we're constantly evolving processes.
Correct.
We've improved them to the point where if there's something comes up, it goes into the same sheet, and the estimator is using that sheet to send out the invitation to bid, and then he's using that to compare to the bids to make sure it's included. So we've kind of streamlined that to help capture the items that need to be captured.
so all
Correct.
that being said, you have to like, comment, subscribe, and you have to watch episode 3 because Clay's got to eat the rest of your banana.
Well,
We'll see you guys later, and that's a cut. Boom.